Welcome everyone to this channel about SimCity BuildIt. In this trick, I show how to make a successful epic project, that is, how to get the cheetah token piece of the epic project almost every time. It is important to understand this trick because it is the most basic trick about epic projects and it will be the base for better tricks about it. My name is Atlantis. I belong to the Isla Atlas Club. This trick is a bit long to explain, but it is worth seeing it in full. Maybe when making an epic project you are missing something. So it can be useful for people who are just starting in the game, as well as for advanced users who want to check that they don't miss anything when they do it. I hope you like it. This is trick 1.11.1, the first basic trick of epic projects. As I said in the introduction, this trick is vital to be able to know better and more advanced epic tricks. In Spanish, we call epic projects with the word epics. I don't know if it is correct in English. I will always try to talk about epic projects, but if I say only epic, I hope you understand me too. Let's start with the trick. When we reach level 24, the epic projects are opened. What is an epic? An epic project. I am going to stop minimally to explain a little what are the epics and why they are important to do them well. An epic project is the improvement of a building when it has already reached its maximum in the normal way, when you can no longer improve it in the usual way, that is, through the yellow helmets. How many epic projects can be done and how many per building? You can make as many epics as you have residential and regional buildings at the maximum, but Paris, London or Tokyo buildings are not included, nor are Old Town, Latin American, Florentine and Art Nouveau buildings, and you can only do them once. That's why it's important to get it right. What does it take to make an epic project? What are the requirements? Well, they are. You have obviously reached level 24 of city experience. That you have at least one fully upgraded residential area. That the residential area is fully covered by a specialization in education, transportation, beach, mountain, entertainment, gambling, or monuments. That the residential area is not destroyed by war or VU disaster. That the residential area has road communication. That no other epic project has been done in the previous 12 hours. And for epic projects in regional buildings, in addition to the above requirements, it must be fulfilled that there is an epic project created in the capital and that the regional building is fully upgraded. After you have completed this, the probability that an epic project can be made in that building is 1 in 13. If the epic project does not appear, it will always be a normal regional building. This is something that not everyone knows. So I'm pretty much breaking down the epic projects for you. What do you get special with an epic project? An epic project gets you more inhabitants, specifically 30% more inhabitants. In that building you get to do the epic project, and you also get a piece of a speed up token. Depending on the points you get in the epic, the piece of the token you get will be a turtle, which will be bronze, a llama, silver, or a cheetah, which is gold. But regardless of the piece you get, the percentage of inhabitants is the same, 30%. What is the purpose of these speed up tokens? Note that I emphasize the difference between pieces and tokens. Several pieces of the same type make up a speed up token. The turtle speed up tokens double the speed at which you produce a commercial building for 1 hour. The llama speed up tokens quadruple the speed at which you produce in a commercial building for 1 hour. And the cheetah speed up tokens increase the production of a commercial building by 12 times for 1 hour. Each epic building will give you a piece to complete a tile of one type. If you have several buildings with several pieces, by collecting all the pieces together, you will be able to get a tile of that type every 24 hours. And this is important. How many pieces do you need to complete a token of one type? Well, this gives for another trick. In fact, there will be more tricks about this. But roughly speaking, it depends. Initially, I think that with 3 turtle pieces, you get a turtle token. With 5 llama pieces, you get a llama token. And with 7 cheetah pieces, you get a cheetah token. But as you advance in the game, this changes gradually, up to a maximum. I'll explain it another time, otherwise this video will take forever. What is really interesting about the epic project? The interesting thing, of course, is to get as much as possible in the epic project. The time you have to complete an epic is 24 hours, and in those 24 hours you will have to complete some tasks. These tasks will ask you for products, and you must give them to increase your points in the project. If you don't get the minimum number of points, currently 40, the epic will be cancelled. Why do I say currently? Because this was not the case at the beginning. If I remember correctly, several years ago the minimum was 30, but the game developers changed it. Currently, as I say, the minimum stands at 40. If you get at least 40 points, your epic is already completed, even if you don't get a single point more. And your new building every 24 hours will generate a piece of a turtle speed up token. If instead of 40 points in the project you are able to get 100 points, your epic will generate a llama piece, which is more interesting and should be your minimum goal. It is a recommendation, although this trick will help you to get the most difficult. A cheetah epic project, which will make your building generate every 24 hours, a piece of a cheetah speed up token, the gold one. For this, you will need 200 points in epic tasks. And of course, getting it is not easy at all. What does the success of an epic project depend on? There are several things you should consider. Be attentive, because in these 5 things lies the trick of epic projects. The first, prepare with difficult products. The tasks of the epic get more complicated as you go along, and usually you will be asked for products or raw materials that are not usually available or are difficult to obtain, and besides, they are usually expensive. So, before doing so, collect items that are difficult to obtain. I'm talking about bread rolls, cupboards, frozen yogurt, barbecues, ladders, drills, cooking utensils, tree saplings, garden furnitures, lawn mowers, fire pits, backpacks, watermelons, and beef. Obviously, depending on your level of city experience, there will be some of the things I just mentioned that you may not have enabled. So much the better. But that is the list of the most complicated things to have. The others can be found with more or less difficulty in the global market, so you should store 10 of each of the ones you have enabled that I have mentioned in order to be able to finish the epic project successfully. But let's see more things you should consider. The second, you must have simoleons in reserve. I'm talking about 100,000 simoleons as a minimum. Why? Because if one of the items that you usually ask for, you run out of them, because in the whole epic project, imagine that you ask for 25. Well, you have no choice but to search in the global market or help you from your clubmates. And this has a price that you have to assume. If you are without simoleons, it can be the difference between reaching the 200 points of the epic or staying at 180. And this trick is about you reaching the cheetah piece, so keep that in mind. It's also true that you could use a cheetah speed up token to make what you're missing. But I would leave it as an exceptional resource. If you can avoid using it, that's what you save. Speed up tokens can be hard to come by in some cases, so it's best to keep them in reserve. The third thing to consider, help yourself from your club. The game is quite fickle, and even with everything I've told you, you might get stuck with some repetitive task that you already have the product out of stock, and it's very hard to find in global market. So without a doubt, when you have a club like Isla Atlas, asking for help from others will make it possible for you to complete your project points. Even before you start the epic, you can let your club know so they can give you a hand if you need it. The fourth thing to consider, no less important than the others. You must store the buildings that are going to influence that epic and that have, important, a single point. These you must store, even if only provisionally, and put only the buildings that give you 3 and 4 points. Some 2 at most, but better all that give you 3 or 4 epic points. How do you know which buildings give you more or less points? Let's imagine that the epic project is about education. Notice, I go to the education specialization, and in the icons I mark, you will see the epic points it gives. Here, in the elementary school, you see that it has an area of influence of 10 by 8, which produces a population increase of 25% to that area of influence, and that gives you 1 epic point. This is the typical building that you must store and replace with another one, like for example, the university, which gives you 3 epic points, as you can see. Of course, a university costs you 25 golden keys, a very precious resource, and of which there will be many tricks about them. But it is that, or you do it this way, or it is impossible to reach a good score in the epic. So place those buildings, like the university, which gives you 3 points. It's an investment. I also tell you to take care of the golden keys and don't just spend, but if you want to do the epic, you have to have buildings that give you 3 or 4 points. And a fifth thing to consider. Since you do something that consumes so many resources, so much money, and that is also difficult, do not settle for the minimum. Make your goal at least the silver epic, but try to get the gold one, because that's the one that's really worth it. Remember to give a like if you found it helpful, comment whatever you want in the comments about this trick, and subscribe and hit the little bell to be notified when I upload a new video. If you want to send your photo from the design challenge for me to put it in a video, in the description you have the link and instructions. I think if you do these 5 things, you have the success of the epic project guaranteed. It's been a long trick, but it had to be explained very well. I hope I didn't miss anything. No doubt there will be more tricks about epic projects. I would be glad if you found it helpful. See you at SCBI. Greetings to all.